my parents used to live on this part of Oak Street.
Oh, okay.
This
I have the camera on.
This
so
was,
I can...
yeah, I figured that out. This used to be a little village, this Oak Street area. You know, it's part of Carrollton, but it's it was kind of like a little world unto itself.
Yeah.
Like Magazine Street. You know how New Orleans is. All cities are like that. They have sort of little cultural villages within themselves and within the larger structure. And this,
If you want to, we can scratch the Barnes and Noble.
well, no, I'd like to go too.
Okay.
I'm
Do you
sure
have any?
Gail would
Do you
like
have
to.
any memories of this area, Mom? So long as I have the camera on.
I remember driving through it when I was a
We
child.
also looked at an apartment. Remember?
I remember that clock that was on the corner
Honey,
there.
that clock's been there since the turn of the century.
Well, that's what I remember.
Yeah, it's also it's the logo for Whitney Bank.
Oh yeah.
That big,
Yeah,
big
that's
clock.
right.
And we almost rented an apartment right off of Oak Street, Gail. And then we wound up getting the one on Broadway because the one that we were looking at was, it was kind of ratty. And I think it was even higher. We got a good deal on the one on Broadway, but we had to fix it up. We had to repaint it, but that's when we started doing house projects. Gail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a break from my graduate school studies, but we repainted it, the whole thing. It was a shotgun. It had a tiny garden in the back, you know, about the size of my deck. The house we live in now, just a little bitty space.
Yeah.
Now we did plant a few things in there, and of course we had our guinea pigs there. That's where we had our first guinea pigs.
Oh really?
Yep. And,
So it took a while for Mom to develop her guinea pig allergy.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had
Pretty much.
Weasel. We had a guinea pig named who was really cute. He was a really lovable little pig, and he was well, not like exactly like the colors of Melanie, but he was reddish brown, kind of like a mahogany brown and black. But he was very elegant looking. He had small ears. He was very elegant, and he had a speech problem. And he would go whiss, whiss, whiss.
Instead of whistle.
He couldn't whistle,
Aw.
and
Oh, that's adorable.
yeah, and it was really. At one time, he was trying to mate with this female that we got, who we called the sow. I don't know if she had an actual name. But
Yeah.
we always called
Mom.
her the sow.
Speaking of pets, were there any of the pets? I know you were allergic to most of them while you were growing up, but were there any that you did bond with?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she had a dog. Tell her
Yeah, I
about
had
your
a dog. I had.
I never saw this. Mary.
And I had a cat, Percy. Anyway, at this time, I was reading a little book about cats, and it was called Percy, Polly, and Pete. So guess what I named all of the kittens?
Oh, Percy, Polly, and Pete.
Right. There was one girl and two boys. My mother wouldn't let the other kids in there. Zoe was too young, and my brothers were, well, they were obnoxious, and they would have, horsed around with the kittens rather than played with them. So she let me come in and fool with the kittens because I was real gentle with them. And I asked her if I could pat them, and she said, well, just one finger. And I took one finger and just patted each one, that way. And anyway, we found homes for the other two, Pete and Polly, and I got to keep Percy. And I was sitting with him all the time, patting him, and basically, bonding with him.
What color was he?
He was cute. He was black with a little white chin and white paws.
Aw.
He was adorable. He had a tuxedo
So
type
you kept
thing.
what was the name of the one you kept again?
Percy.
Percy.
My father's name, Gail.
Yeah, no, I know. I was thinking about that. There's some synchronicity there.
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
it's like it's the French version. The English version is Percival.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
aristocratic name.
It was a beautiful little cat. And
Yeah.
very gentle, and I could do anything to him, and basically, he would lay on my lap with his tummy up, and I'd rub his tummy.
Aw.
And
Well, you were there from when he was a kitten, so
yeah,
That's-
and I was about 4, something like that. And it was a really important moment with my mother. It was one of the times I kind of bonded with her because she loved animals too. But she really did. She had, by the way, a goat.
She did?
I never
Yes,
heard
she
about
did.
the goat.
She had a goat. She had, I think the goat was named Molly.
Molly.
Yeah. And she had a rabbit at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't
Why
remember
didn't
the
she
rabbit's
approve
name.
of our guinea pigs? They make fun of our guinea pigs.
That was my family.
Your father would say
Yeah.
it was a rat.
Oh,
Did you
well,
ever-
it was probably, yeah. Well, go on, Mom.
But anyway, they all really liked animals. I mean, I don't know why they, made fun of the guinea pigs, but
Carlton Jr., when he visited us for the first time we lived on West William Street, close to Milligan. House has been bulldozed, but we still had Weasel and the sow, and we had a cage was made out of wood and chicken wire. My father had made the cage for us, and anyhow, little Carlton was maybe about maybe a little older, maybe about 4 years old.
yeah.
He climbed into the cage with the guinea pigs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And wanted
yes.
to pet them and make
Oh, that's
But
really
anyway,
cute.
My family's always loved animals, and that was one of the things I loved about my mother, was her love of animals, and that she let me share that with her. And just me. The two boys were just too rough, and my little sister was too little at the
Yeah.
time. She was 2. And Carlton would have been about 7, and Robin was 3. And so he wasn't really the right sort of age either. And it was really special. It was one of those special things that I had with my mother.
That's
You
really
wanna-
cool.
Yeah. And
And what were the cats' names again?
Percy, Polly, and Pete.
And which one was the mom?
The mom was called Miss Pinky.
Oh, really?
She was basically one of those brindles, kind of like Bijou.
Yeah.
And that was my mother's name for her.
Miss Piggy.
Miss Pinky.
Miss Pinky. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I'm not quite sure why she decided on that, but no, she was Mrs. Pinky. Miss Pinky, there was a Miss Pinky too, and she had kittens too.
She wasn't a miss anymore.
But
We had one of the first people we met at Milligan, she had several cats, and one of the cats, talking about Pat,
yeah, Piazza, not
no,
Piazza.
not Piazza, it was my girlfriend, Pat Sandoval.
That's it. That's right.
But she had one cat, and it came down the stairs. We were sitting down eating dinner. It was the first time we ever been in her house. And she says, "Oh, that's Pissy." And I thought she was
gosh.
talking about the food or something, But it was the cat. That was the cat's name, Pissy.
See, I deliberately name my pets human names.
Uh-huh.
To just get away from what I see as it's really disrespectful to me.
What?
I mean, and that's like the most disrespectful of the most disrespectful. Is to actually call your cat something like that.
Well, I spent many.
Although, I mean, I say that, but then Ning Ning called one of her dogs, who she really loved, Creature.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
And Creature was, he was, in a way, he was kind of lovable, in a way.
Yeah.
But he really was. Nobody else would have adopted that dog. I mean,
He was very sweet,
Yes,
but
he was.
he
was paranoid too. And
Yeah,
of
well,
course,
he'd probably been
He
abused.
had been abused.
Yeah.
And Mary would always, whenever I'd point out how weird he was, she'd say, "Oh, but you got to keep in mind, all the bad stuff that's happened to him."
Yeah, and she was right.
Yeah, which was probably true.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing that Leslie forgot to mention, and Marion would jokingly say this, and you can ask any of Leslie's siblings. Marion would say that she always loved her animals more
No.
than she did her children.
Yeah, you mentioned that already when we were in the mall.
Okay.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah. No, and
mean,
I was saying that I think I may have inherited a little bit of that.
I've
mean,
heard that over the years, Gail. It wasn't like one time.
I mean, I think when I'm one-on-one with people, like when I'm with clients, I bond with them. It's a very intense bond. But with people as a concept, I don't, it doesn't always work.
Well,
it
that's
doesn't.
probably true of everybody to
Yeah.
some extent.
I suppose so.
It's hard to love humankind in the abstract, but
Yeah.
there are people. I mean, like I'm not cynical, so cynical that I don't believe there are people who work for like UNESCO, which is the United Nations Agency for Children, or people who work like helping people with who have Ebola or something like that. And I think
Or people who work in mental health, like,
they have
like me.
have a sense of humankind needing
Yeah.
and and I don't think I don't have that, but I don't think I have it to the degree that they have it.
Yes, I did have a dog. She came around at around Christmas time, and while all of the other kids were playing with their new toys, I was out in the shed sitting with this mother dog who was having puppies.
Oh.
And it was really neat. I got to see the puppies.
She just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah. And
You told me that.
and she was in this shed where we kept tools and things. She had snuck
The
in
cachetta?
there. No, not the cachetta. It was another, basically just a shed attached to the house.
We're in a school zone.
And she was a brown dog, kind of a tan color, and she was really very clever. She could climb fences, for example, and she
That's amazing.
yeah.
I mean,
Isn't
that's more
that
like it's
amazing?
more like a cat.
Okay, my mother called her Merry Christmas, and I just called her Mary.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That's
and yeah, because it was Christmas time.
Sounds
And
like Mary.
while all the kids were unwrapping presents, I was in this little shack
Uh-huh.
with the dog. It was cold too, but I really, it was really a wonderful situation. With all
Yeah,
these
well, it's very-
beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful
kind of-
little puppies.
Oh.
And
So they just been born?
yeah, she was in the process of having them.
Oh, she was actually giving
Yeah,
birth.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
So did you see her giving
And it was
birth?
very remarkable that she let me stay there and,
Yeah.
and be there with them. And,
Because that's a
Yeah.
very vulnerable stage.
yeah, and she bonded really closely with me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
And,
sure.
Yeah. And basically, she would follow me everywhere, and
Aw.
I loved her. I thought she was really terrific, but she was also very protective of her territory,
Yeah.
and she bit people who came onto the property.
Yeah.
So we, I don't know what my parents did with her. They said they got a home for her, which I don't know
Oh.
what they did, but basically,
Oh.
after that she was gone. I was
Aw.
really sad about it.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 10,
Or 10?
or
Yeah.
9 or 10, something like that. Maybe younger than that.
Yeah.
I had lost my cat by then. He had
Yeah.
disappeared. Most male cats disappear at a certain point.
That was Percy?
Percy, yeah. And and I was really unhappy to see my dog go too. But it really, I was very fortunate to have those two contacts with pets. Very close.
Yeah.
Very
It's
loving.
beautiful.
Yeah. And what else did I have that was great? I had 2 friends when I was growing up. I had, and I met them kind of just out riding my bike one day.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that we like make-believe, and we like to make stories up of things, and we like to pretend like, the neighborhood was like outer space, and we were riding along the Milky Way, or
That sounds incredibly imaginative.
yeah.
How old were you?
I was let's see, this would have been I think it would have been around 10 or 11 or
10
so.
or 11?
Yeah, somewhere in there. And I had a great time with them. We would go over to each other's houses, and Nellie was the name of one of them, and Kim was the name of the other one. And I liked both of them. Nellie was very kind and very sweet, and would basically do everything Kim had told her to do, which was kind of cute. And then And then Kim. What? Oh my gosh!
What's he got there?
Petty fours.
Oh.
Petty fours.
Oh, okay.
Then Kim would. She was very. She loved horses, and I loved horses. I think all girls that are around at a certain age love horses.
I still have not outgrown that.
And
I've
anyway,
never seen a picture of any of your family with the horses.
I don't know.
There may
if
not
we have any.
be one that exists.
May not be.
Because they've all talked to me about the horses at one time or another, but there's no photographic
That was a wonderful
documentation.
thing too. Anyway, to go back to the horses, my father knew that all of us wanted horses.
All kids.
It was
want horses.
it was a big deal.
So this was your dad?
Mm-hmm. So he got two horses.
My grandfather.
Okay. Wanted to make sure she didn't hit me.
Your grandfather, right?
So what happened?
He loved animals too. So he got two horses. He got one for him and one for the kids, basically.
Oh, I thought Marion had a horse.
I think she was supposed to ride the one the kids got.
I didn't know he had done an economy model here.
Yeah, and of course his horse was the more spirited one, and also he was pretty good looking. Red Boy was his name was what was his name? Texas.
Oh.
That was the horse that he rode.
And
Red Boy was the kids model, and was supposed to be as nice as the other horse, but he was kind of a stinker, and had a head of his own. And one time he got away from me when I was riding him, and he took off back to the stables, and he was kind of a stinker. But anyway, for a while we rode them a lot, and one time he put them in a show, and I actually got to ride at one of the occasions, one of the riding
Rodeos, they're called.
riding special riding, basically group riding.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Okay.
me and him, he got to ride on Texas, and I rode Red Boy, and we rode around a ring together and this sort of thing.
This I
We didn't
never-
know any tricks or anything.
Okay.
But
This I never heard. Didn't you
But
all
he was
have
real
special,
proud of it.
Didn't you have Western gear tack?
yes.
Or the
Oh,
quarter
really?
We all wanted cowboy boots and hats.
Naturally.
And I got to wear my cowboy boots and my hat when I rode Red Boy in that ring. And I really enjoyed it. Again, it was a moment when I bonded with my father, and he was really happy to be riding around there. No one else wanted to ride on Red Boy. With him that day, and I had come along with him, and had stuck around the whole day and this sort of thing. So when the group riding came up, I was right there, ready to go.
Awesome.
So, and I was usually really shy about this sort of thing, during class skits, on the stage. I was terrified of that. But I actually went out and did this with my father.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so
The only reason I know anything about this, and I didn't know about the competition riding like that. The only reason I know anything about it is we used to go walking along the levee, and about 2 miles north of Marion's house, there's a stable, or there used to be a stable. And every time we'd walk by, naturally, we'd talk about, the horses and all, play them all.
Tell me something about a pet from your childhood.
Gosh,
Snooky.
well, I can tell you about when we lived on a farm.
Okay.
I had a pet rooster and a pet hog.
Mm-hmm.
And they both became pets, kind of by default. I didn't set out to say, hey, I want a pet pig or I want a pet rooster, but I was given this as a child's chore. It was my job to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I would go and give them special treats.
Mm-hmm. What were their names?
Well, stupid names. The pig was named Blackie, and the rooster was named Ruru, because he would, "Roo," like this,
Yeah.
and that's what it sounded like to me. I was 5 years old at the time.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but I don't know what happened to the rooster, but the pig was slaughtered when he was still at the slug. So there's more to the story. When he was at the suckling pig stage, and my mother cooked him and all,
Oh
and served him for dinner.
no! No!
And we all sat there
Oh my God!
looking at the pig, and nobody wanted to eat it.
Well, no, of course not.
She had to throw it all away. And this
Or
is,
she gave it to someone.
yeah, or gave it to someone.
Yeah.
But this is a story that got told again and again and again. The story of the
Yeah.
pig.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Well, why did she who slaughtered the pig?
My dad.
Why? He knew it was your pet.
Well, because if you're a Cajun, a suckling pig is pretty hard to pass up.
Oh, jeez.
And it was, I guess it was beautifully roasted. It was a beautifully roasted.
Well, yeah, that's just disgusting.
Well, honey, I'm telling you this.
No,
is-
no, I know, but that's tragic. That's horrible. That had to have been
I was-
traumatic.
I still remember it.
It had to have been so traumatic.
Well, I didn't fuss at them or throw a fit or anything.
Yeah.
I just kind of went into withdrawal. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the point? The pig was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, getting upset about it wasn't going to bring the pig back.
Yeah.
But
His mom said, told me that he would say, "Oh, poor Blackie," or whatever. Poor Blackie. When everyone was sitting there,
Yeah.
trying to eat.
well, no, this didn't encourage people. They were trying to eat it, and I was there moaning over the pig.
Yeah.
And I don't remember all of the details, Gail. I was only
Yeah.
5 years old. I still
Yeah.
remember feeding them. I had a horse too that would ride out into the cotton fields. Just an old horse, probably.
You remember what you called him?
No,
No. How old were you?
5.
5?
And-
Well, I got to ride on some of the horses when you would interview some of the Amish families in Illinois. I enjoyed that. I'd be riding them bareback.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot you'd
Yeah.
come with me.
Yeah, it's for me. It was easy because I just have an intrinsic trust of most animals, and I mean I didn't need a saddle or
Right,
reins or
they're-
anything. I just had to trust them.
All these, we see the Amish horses pretty often too, because they come into Sullivan, and they have a place back of the supermarket where they can tie. They have a railing for them to tie up the horses and their buggies,
Yeah,
and the
And
horse,
what's neat,
they'll
too,
wait there.
is we'll fantasize it, what they might be thinking or
Yeah.
saying to one another.
I predict it's 1,000 times more noble than any of the humans around them. You just know it.
Well,
you know it.
that Jonathan Swift in Gulliver's Travels, the last section of the book deals with
The Houyhnhnms.
The Houyhnhnms, and
Yeah.
that's horses.
Yeah,
That's what they called themselves because they whinny, and they, of course, in his book, science fiction, of course, the Houyhnhnms can talk, and they regard the human beings are called yahoos, and that's where the term yahoo comes
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And when the yahoos first appear in the book, they're engaged in throwing crap at one another,
Yeah, they're terrible.
and they're just absolutely,
Filthy.
yeah. Seems like a
disgusting.
pretty accurate rendition
Yeah.
of humanity.
And
a lot
the
of times,
horses are very noble, and they sleep
Yeah.
on clean straw,
Yeah.
and converse. They have philosophical discussions. It's really,
Oh my God, he's like one of our kind. Then
He had-
yeah,
oh, yeah,
that
a lot
guy.
of-
And
Yeah.
they really came to respect him,
Yeah.
even though he was, human.
Yeah,
they accepted him, and then that's how the book ends.
yeah,
Jonathan goes back to England,
Well,
know?
he was going to become a Wenham.
Yeah, he wanted to join up
Yeah.
with the horses, but he winds up going back to England. And the first time he goes home and sits down for dinner with his wife and children, he's totally disgusted by his own family. And that's how the book ends. He doesn't feel
Yeah.
like he belongs
Yeah.
anywhere anymore.
And,
Wow.
you know, he yearns to be back with his noble friends among the Wenhams.
Yeah. That's right. It's been ages since I read that.
Well,
Forgot about all that.
Swift has another famous item, which I used to teach, but the last couple of times I taught it, I don't think the students got it, or maybe
Yeah.
they hadn't read it, or both.
Yeah.
But it's called A Modest Proposal.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
famous
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
Well,
one.
he proposes that to solve the it was basically, we would call it a protein problem today in Ireland. That the best way to do that was
Yeah,
to let the babies, especially ones that were bastard children or orphans, or but any baby you can get a hold of, and let them get to about a year old. And he describes, if you let it get for a year and a half old, it'll be juicier and fatter,
Yeah.
He describes all this, and you roast the baby, and serve that. And then you
That
can
was
pay.
his modest proposal.
Yeah.
You pay the family.
I
for
think
it.
that's part of what I remember that, and I think that's part of what I mean, I was already a vegetarian off and on, but I think that's part of it. And then, of course, it was also powerful social commentary because it laid bare just how sick it is, how the way that we marginalize each other,
Yeah.
and what the culmination of that kind of hierarchical thought would be.
There are all kinds of jokes in
Yeah.
Swift's.
Yeah,
For
it's
example,
really good.
the second section of the first section, of course, he visits the Lilliputians, and they tie him up with thread and so forth, the little people. And then in the second section, he visits these scientists, and it's a big put down of and he describes the scientists as being, they're all falling asleep and they have their heads on their shoulders like this, and when they wake up they spout equations and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
but
Yeah.
anyhow, the place that they live is called La Puta, which is Spanish for
The whore.
prostitute or
Yeah.
whore. So,
Do you remember that? That's an interesting segue because I remember Uncle Robin had a cat he had named Puta.
Right.
Remember that little gray
Yes.
cat?
Yes, I remember.
I
That
didn't-
was way before Katrina.
yeah, I didn't remember that, but
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And the cat would just walk in the house,
Shit.
through
Almost
the
had a
open
wreck.
windows.
Almost had a
Oh,
wreck.
shit. Someone
She's
acted
like,
like
okay?
a jerk.
Thank you. Gail, you remember the snowball stand?
I do.
It's still open.
Yeah.
There it is. Looks like the same damn sign. I don't think they've painted it.
No, I don't think they
30
have.
years.
Yeah.
Same shack.
Yeah.
And I bet she makes a fortune off that thing.
He had good snowballs, too.
Gail, I can remember when these trees were planted.
Really? When was that?
Oh, I was probably, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade. Something like that.
6th or 7th
Around
grade.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
So it would have been in the mid 50s,
Late 50s.
late 50s.
Yeah. Middle to late.
Retrace. The two friends were Nellie Prochnow and Kim Dallas.
Uh huh.
And actually, I was closer probably to Kim. We both loved horses. We pretended to be horses, or pretended that we had stick horses, and we'd, ride them around and this sort of thing. And anyway, and we would pretend that different parts of the neighborhood were parts of the galaxy, and we were traveling around to all these different places and exploring them and this kind of thing.
What? You have
Well-
told me about their names, but I didn't know about the galaxy fantasy. Now, why
Yeah.
do you like
Oh,
these
yeah.
science fiction
Yeah.
movies about the
I've
galaxy?
always liked science fiction. You know why I like
Yeah.
science fiction?
Yeah, I know you've always liked. Well,
But
I
the
would
reason
read,
would
I
be-
would read science fiction too. When
The
I was a
reason
kid.
would be when I was very young, and about the age where I would be, my mother was pushing the Bobbsey twins and Nancy
Uh-huh.
Drew at me.
Yeah.
She raved over Carlton's collection of, well, first of all, the Hardy Boys, but also the Rick Brant series, which is about a young scientist with a father who's a scientist. And,
She was trying to get him
he
to
has
go into
been-
science.
yeah, and he had a best friend who was a Marine. He had pretended to be older than he was and signed up for the Marines, and then, basically got released, at a certain point. And anyway, and Carlton raved over it, and my mother, said, "Oh my goodness, you read another one of those books." And guess what I wanted to read? Surprise, surprise. Not the Nancy Drew or the Bobbsey twins, but before that, well, I'll get back to that. But it was Rick Brant and all of his scientific discoveries and scientific
Strange
things.
duck, isn't it?
I see him, Dan. But anyway, it was very exciting, and they went all over the world. Like, one of the adventures was in Tibet, one was in Washington, D.C., one was in the Polynesian Islands. So all sorts of different exciting places and things and scientific mysteries that they'd, work on or deal with. And anyway, so I got interested in that. And that was kind of science fiction. In fact, one of the times, for example, the one in Tibet, there was some smugglers smuggling stuff, and what they found out was that it was heavy water that had formed naturally in this cave in Tibet. And apparently it was water that could be used for fusion bonds.
Yeah.
H3O.
Yeah.
But you also got interested in fantasy too, because
Sure.
Carlton was interested in, and I first learned about the Hobbit books from Carlton and your
Right,
mom.
but that was later. That was when,
later. Well,
I was in my
it had to
teens.
be later because that's when I met you. It was later, but the Hobbit books had already been out for a while, but I
Yeah.
hadn't, particularly gotten into them, and I may have known about them, but
Those books
Yeah.
cast a spell on you. I remember reading them when I was 14.
yeah, well, it's a whole. That's why the movies are so
yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
And
And you read the
Carlton.
Lord of the Rings books too, didn't you? Or
Yeah, I read everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but anyway, to go on, that was the sort of thing that I thought was most interesting. I also loved, this was one my mother pushed at us that I did love and really latched on to, was the F.L. Baum books.
oh, the
Oz
Wizard
books.
of Oz. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, Gail, this ties in with what I was telling you yesterday about Marion's interest in literature and books. So, that was one thing I forgot to tell you. When Leslie and I first got married, well, we only got married once, so after we,
Yeah,
during the
I know,
first
it's okay.
days of our
Yeah.
marriage, I should say, and first years, even when we moved out to the country and bought the farmhouse. Your grandmother would send us. Well, first of all, she gave me a subscription to Horizon magazine, and I still have all of them. They're not magazines in the normal sense. They're an actual bound, oversized, looks like a small newspaper size, but hardcover. And they're filled with articles on history and culture and art. You know, like the Impressionists, or maybe Chinese art, or Chinese scrolls, or things like that. Very, very artsy, very intellectual, and very well done. And then she also gave us some individual art books. Quite a few of them, and that's one of the reasons that I don't know how I inherited them, but I came across them just recently. There was in a box where I was sorting stuff. They're still in the living room. I actually have some of her art books, Marion's art books.
Yeah.
But she gave us a whole bunch of them. Not used books, new ones that she bought for us as gifts. So she would often give us that as an anniversary present or something.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
so that's why I sort of inherit. You know, there was this good side of her that I, you know, pretty much thought was good and cool, and was probably, when she wasn't, you know, running on alcoholic vapors, you know. And then, as I said, she was interested there, and she also would take us to. She did take us to a couple of plays.
Yeah.
In the French, and I suspect if we had stayed in New Orleans, she would have.
Yeah, we would have been her cultural friends.
Yeah, we would have.
Yeah.
That would have been our niche in her
Yeah.
life. You know, we wouldn't have been drinking buddies so much. We might our
Yeah.
restaurants. She also knew that I really liked restaurants, and she and John got great pleasure. This is something I should have said earlier on. Of taking. I don't think they would take the other members out. I don't remember. Once with Carlton, but I can't remember going with the other siblings. And usually they would take me and Leslie.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't a sibling.
This was a place that they had discovered.
And if it was a restaurant that of course, they may have all taken the other people
They probably
before,
did. Yeah.
but we got a lot of special restaurant attention.
Yeah.
And of course, it was an excuse for them to go out and Marion didn't have to cook. That's the cynical take on this. But they also really just got a real kick out of doing it,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
which worked to our benefit.
and I wanted to go back to one of the wonderful things my mother did about art and about reading to get us interested is that she read the first part of The Wizard of Oz to us, and at a certain point just stopped reading it. And of course, it was up to us if we were interested to continue
Oh, that's a
and
good
find out what
tactic.
happened.
That's
Yeah.
a really good tactic, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I hadn't heard this story.
Yeah. And it worked with me. I went and I tried to figure out what was happening. I looked through the books, and they have beautiful pictures in them. And before I knew
Well,
it,
those
I
are
was
all
reading
collector's
them.
items.
Yeah, I know. They're all gone.
Wonder
Yeah.
who got them.
I think the Symphony Book Fair got them. Yeah.
Kind of like my grandfather's pickup truck.
Yeah.
I never got it. I'd love to have that truck.
I would have loved to have kept them, but my mother was neurotic about keeping things that you hadn't looked at for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so she insisted that I get rid of them. And anyway, but it was beautiful, and I really enjoyed that, and I think that's a wonderful gift she gave me.
Although my mother was she didn't say it, but my mother was most upset about us moving to Illinois. Marion was very supportive of that.
Yeah, she was.
And I think she
Really?
She was glad you had gotten a
She was
job.
glad
and
I
you're-
got a job. Gail,
Yeah.
you think it's tough to get a job now? It's nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
when I got my
It's
PhD,
hard. It's hard.
it was nothing. Just
Yeah.
nothing.
Actually,
Yeah.
Stephen King mentioned that in his
Just
biography.
nothing.
Because
Just
he
nothing.
graduated with the exact same PhD at the exact same
Yeah.
time and couldn't find
Yeah.
a job anywhere.
And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people ask me, how do you wind up in Central Illinois? Because they offered me a tenure track job, and I didn't even take it. I turned it down. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No.
And because my advisor had said, don't take the job unless they offer you $10,000. And they offered me $95,000. And so
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing either. I said, I've been advised not to take this job at that salary level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
so I thought, well, there goes. So they
There
didn't say
goes one
anything.
job, yeah.
And
It's a
when
good thing that they came back.
Well,
because
I'm talking about personal philosophy here. My own personal philosophy, which has to do with how you deal with unpleasant events in your life, and particularly memories, and how you fold them into your consciousness. And my feeling about this is that it's okay to get good and pissed off, but it's also necessary to put these things behind you, because particularly for somebody who wants to be a writer, you need to have a clean slate to work from. And all of this negative stuff really interferes with creativity. It interferes with your perception of things too, which for a writer, that's your bread and butter. If you're not perceiving it 100%, you're not going to be doing very good job with the keyboard or the pen or whatever. So all of these things, have sort of become my philosophy over the years. I didn't, set out to discover this. It's not terribly original, but it's something that is an existential reality for me. I really believe in this, and I think I've even given this advice to you in one form or another. I know.
Yeah,
I have.
never so concisely though.
Well,
that's
We're
pretty
in a
cool.
car, and you've got a camera on.
Yeah.
What more incentive do you need?
Yeah.
And this is a good way to trap a former English professor into being clear and calm and precise.
Yeah.
But being
That's
concise isn't always possible. And also, maybe I wasn't able to verbalize about it as well as I am now because I hadn't, lived through it often enough. But I've lived through it often enough now to feel,
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah,
well,
Jefferson
Dale,
Parish.
maybe in other parts of the world I might. Look at that. Now, tell me that's not idiotic.
That is idiotic.
Tell me that's not idiotic.
That is
Well, it's
idiotic.
New Orleans.
God, dog.
It's New Orleans
it's crazy.
driving.
And I've seen, this is the third time we see this thing happening.
Yeah.
A person deliberately running a red
I know.
light.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna shut off the camera for now.
In the middle of 5 o'clock traffic.
Yeah.